Alright people, this is basically the creek video. Alright, now this right here is I'm giving a walkthrough of just how much I'm going to be doing. But you can see this section through here. Okay, hang on. And of course you can see this tree right here. But you also got this right here. And of course they count this as a little creek, so I'm probably 6 or 8 inches deep and 6-7 feet across. Well, then you go right here, and of course you got this thing right here, this bank right here, and there's my sluice. So got it set up, but like I said, I'm just doing a walkthrough for now, just to let you see what's going on. I'm gonna try and take like all this right here, and of course all this. Alright, now I got, well, you can actually tell what I'm gonna do is while I'm sluicing, I'm gonna be looking through all the tailings and stuff, and basically I'm gonna be leveling up the creek some, filling in some of the holes, giving the fish and crayfish some extra places to get food. I mean, there's all kinds of little fish in here. I've got the filters for the pump so it won't suck them in, and there's a little tailing pile right there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me turn this way. Okay, yeah, there you go. Let me get the waves to stop. But there's a little tailings pile right here. I guess it's where my landlords have been through here. There's several of those piles throughout this creek, but nobody's ever actually done any prospecting here. Now up this way right here, you'll see through that way. I'm gonna go ahead and get part of that and get it so that water comes in the middle instead of into that tree. I'll try and repack that with dirt, get the stream to move just a little bit so it's away, and not have those trees fall down any more than, say like this or this. I mean, there's all kinds of little things like this going on. But like I said, I mean, that flood. Hang on a minute. Alright. But you get the idea. And now so far we've only walked. Hang on a minute. Let me get through here. Now my landlord did a little bit of grading for me, because so far he's been the landlords have been wonderful about this, as far as putting up with me and my sluicing stuff. But as you can see, here's a deep spot I can level out. But if you go underneath with this silt, it is gravel. Okay, I mean, because when that flood came through here, originally all this was, not really sure how you can tell. I'm trying to give a good, it was at least a good, if you can see where the base of that tree, before the flood, this stream was actually this much higher. Okay, so it dug it down pretty good, but it did not get down to hard pack. Okay, but it did move a whole bunch of stuff. Like I've got this whole section right here to do. I got some decent sized rocks, so there's lots of catching points. And in through here. Now, okay, now look through here. Here's a catch point with an old lawnmower wheel. But as you can see, that's a good catch point all around through it. I got this whole section right through here. I mean, this is just. Hang on. There we go. I forgot to get my fly spray, or the bug spray. So, I mean, it's humid here, but it's not bad. We got plenty of water. Okay. Some of these sections. I mean, right now you're seeing water that's looks like it's standing still, but it is moving. So, well, hell, that's what water does. Alright, but here's another little section. Hang on. I gotta, there. Had a scratch. Alright, I'm going through spotted, but here's a little spot. You see gravel, sand, but you go about 6 inches down, and this is nothing but gravel. All in through here. Here's a section with terracotta drain pipes. Here's one, and there's the other one. But look at all this around here that can be done. Like I said, nobody, as far as I can tell, has ever done any sluicing or anything through here, and you can tell it goes all the way up. And just think, we ain't even halfway through the walk yet. We're just the first few minutes of it. But like I said, and you can tell, I can do all this. Okay, so it should be interesting. It's gonna take me a long time. So, there's actually several places through here. Well, it's like once I clear all this brush right here, I've been doing some cutting. I had to cut stuff out of the way, but like I said, nobody ever comes out here and unless it's like a cow or a raccoon, or every once in a while a mountain lion. But I forgot what they call them. But the big cat, giant cat, ones I don't want to fuck with. But like I said, through here, and then through here, there's a lot of places that a suction dredge would be fantastic, making quick work. Look at all this section right through here, okay? And right in through, like right through there. This right here would be fantastic for a 3-inch suction dredge, 2-inch, not too big. And of course, and here's another bar for me to do. And then of course, right in, I can probably cut back this line right here a little bit and get the stuff that's in there. Hang on a minute. But like I said, you see here, you can see where the water's speeding up, where it's going downhill. You can actually hear it over my voice. But then look at this catch right here, okay? Look at all that stuff that's underneath that log. And I don't know how to turn the light on, but you can see where the flood actually undercut into this bank. So if I were to move this log out of the way and just get all that, leave the bank alone, that'd be good. So right now I'm just trying to make plans on, getting this stuff done a little bit at a time. And here's another section. Look at this bank right through here. And you can tell how deep we are now. And you can pretty much tell, there you go, how much that flood cut. But like I said, it's going to take time. Here's another place where a suction dredge would do fantastic, because all this is, the rocks aren't too big. They're not too small. There's plenty of gravel. But it's, as far as using a high banker like I'm going to be doing, that's like, look at that bank right there, okay? That's how much was cut away, and it was over to, well, you can pretty much tell it was pretty much over to here where I'm at now. So, but all this, but like I said, and if you notice, I'm still walking. I'm not rushing, but then again, I'm not really going slow, other than running off at the mouth. But here you go. Look, here's another section I can get, and like I said, I can put all the whatever tailings, and there's actually big rocks in through here. There's like almost, I'm not gonna say bedrock, but some of the videos I've seen that have showed rock ledges, that's about what it looks like through here. But then again, I'm thinking it could also be like nothing but hard clay, which that won't hurt my feelings, because anything that's, oh yeah, this right here would be fantastic for a dredge, because here's that it's either rock or hard pack. I'm thinking it's like, oops, sorry. I forgot my stomping around is raising up the dirt. But you can tell this is either hard packed. This right here would be this right here would be a fantastic place for a dredge. Okay, right in through here. I mean, they could spend a couple hours. Because like I said, you get down to a point and it's nothing but extra large rocks. And just throw the tailings right in this hole right here. Yep. I mean, because it's going to be more or less like the... Oh yeah, here's one of the sections. Now the water got deep right here. To me, deep is like, 2.5, 3 feet, for this creek. Where everything just got undercut. But look at this right here. I mean, that's all the way across. Okay. Now the thing is, when that flood came through, alright, you can see right here, that all this right here was not visible. It cut all of that. And look how deep that is, undercut underneath those trees, But like I said, all these roots and stuff are holding it up. Hang on for a minute, let me keep walking. Keep walking. As you can see. Alright, now. But if you look right under there, I don't know if you might have to zoom in. I can't right now. Hang on. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer, because now it gets to about, this hole right here is like I'll say 2.5 feet. But if you look through there, you will see gravel and stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of gravel and stuff that got moved out of here and moved down there. Okay, so but now here's the good part. All right, all this right here is hard clay. I guess it's clay. Okay, all in through here. Hey, look at the size of those big rocks right there. But originally, the creek came in through there. Well, that flood cut this in through there. And look at this. Here's another sandbar for me to get hold of. And you see how it's in a curve. So, and like I said, now this area right here, I'm thinking would be fantastic for a dredge, or one of those suction wands that I keep seeing. One of those stick wands. Because see, this right here would be fantastic because you have all these crevices, all these. I mean, I got bit by a mosquito, but there's all kinds of like crevices that, my shovel ain't even gonna touch this stuff. Okay, not without chipping off huge pieces of hard clay that just, my high backer ain't gonna work it that good until I get in the header box. So Gold Hog is gonna love me, okay? But I figure it'll probably end up being worth it to upgrade all the equipment. I'll find a home for that one sluice. But like I said, we can always have 2 sluices. Oh, and that suction sound you heard? That's my vape. Here it is. Okay, there you go. See? And it's my well, but like I said, this right here would be a fantastic place for a dredge or suction wand. I mean, you could spend a couple hours here with one of those little hand suction wands and a couple 5-gallon buckets, and just take your time and just go as fast and as hard as you can, and it would still take you a couple hours. Now, if you'll notice, there's still a sandbar here that I could get with my dredge, along with all that. But you can imagine how long it's going to take me to get all this shit done. And like I said,